Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. We're live now. I'm just going to wait for you to, okay? Because many of you told me yesterday that you joined in, but I couldn't see you on the live chat. Today is going to be different. So, welcome to day 9. We are on day 9, nearly 10 days gone by, where we've been on this incredible 21-day challenge to thrive and not just survive the fabulous day, because together we are going to co-create completely different vibration so that our understanding of some important aspect of our life shifts. And when that shifts, everything shifts, doesn't it? So let's talk about what we are here to do. Before we get into that, hi, I'm Vidisha Kaushal. I'm your coach and catalyst for this journey, and I'm going to help you create a conscious life. That's what I do. So today we're going to talk about something that it's almost fashionable to talk about this, but I doubt if we are really grasping this correctly. And this is loving and honoring your body. Hi, Sudeepa. Good to have you here. So, the whole idea of loving and honoring your body is an idea that everybody seems to be talking about. I constantly hear about it in media. I see this being used by the marketing industry very, very intelligently, but very, very harmfully sometimes. So, I wanted to talk about this today to you because I thought in these 21 days, if we can actually shift the way we feel about our bodies and the way we treat our bodies, so much can change about our life, can't it? Right. So often I hear about love your body, love yourself. And then I see people going to a salon, getting their hair done, and most probably the salon would have advertised how you can love yourself more, how you can take better care of your body by coming to their salon. It's very similar to the taglines that some of the most popular brands have, right? When your worthiness is equated with their products, you know what I'm talking about. So many of these messages, and therefore I see people going to spas, I see people going to salons, I see people wearing a tremendous amount of makeup and treating themselves to all kinds of things. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with any one of these things. They're all wonderful, playful things to do. But here's where the problem is. You take away the hair straightening, and then what happens to your self love? Then what happens to loving your body? You take away all those layers of makeup, and you're left with somebody who's highly underconfident and, in fact, hates her skin sometimes, and therefore is loading it with layers and layers of makeup. You take away those biceps and triceps, and then where does the concept of loving your body go? Because loving our body or honoring the body is a completely different thing. This has been much misunderstood. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with making your body look and feel fabulous. That's very, very important. But the journey of self love, the journey of honoring your body, does not begin and end there. That's just one way of expressing your gratitude or your joy towards being born in this body. Now let's understand what your body is. Hi, Minakshi, good to have you here. So the body is such a sophisticated instrument that has been given to us. It is like the most sophisticated hardware and software combined in one. You can put together all the computers in the world, and yet the software that we have been given in terms of the human brain far supersedes any supercomputer even till date, right? You look at the human body, every invention that has been created by man is a replica of something that already exists in the human body or in nature, right? So you look at things like valves, you look at things like pumps, you look at things like bridges, all this, can you imagine, already exists life. How do you experience different aspects of your life on earth? A lot of it is experienced through your five senses, right? So when you eat food, you taste food, and it's thanks to your body that you get to taste food. When you see something beautiful, it's through your ability to see that you're able to relish those sights, isn't it? Similarly, all the lovely fragrances and everything else that we've been given. Some of us have been given more abilities, some may have been given slightly less abilities, but eventually it all balances itself out, right? So this is essentially a vehicle through which we experience the journey, which is a human journey. Imagine if I want to go from point A to point B, I need into a car and I travel through that car. Now, if I treat the car badly, or if I constantly criticize that car, or if I constantly feel like this car is not good enough, am I going to enjoy the journey? Am I going to have pleasure in that drive? Not at all, right? And if I'm just constantly thinking about other people's cars and how they look, the whole point, the joy, the experience is completely lost. What would you say to this kind of a person? You would tell the person, hey, wake up, you're traveling through beautiful hills and rivers and streams and whatnot, and why don't you enjoy all of that? Why don't you enjoy some good music? Why don't you enjoy the pleasure of driving or sitting and relaxing if you're not driving? Why don't you enjoy all of that instead of measuring your car against the car of somebody else? Because that's a sure way to ruin your journey. Somebody will always have a more high-end car than you. Well, it's exactly the same with the human body. That's what we do, don't we? There's so much criticism going on for ourselves. Think about it. When you're getting a picture taken, what are your first thoughts when you're getting a photograph taken? Just pause this video for a moment and write down what your first thoughts are. Is it about tucking that tummy in? Is it about hiding behind somebody so that you look slimmer? Is it about putting your face at a certain angle so that some part of your body looks slimmer, bigger, sharper, taller, whatever it is? Then if this is what we are doing at one moment in time, imagine what we do the entire day. Imagine the conversation that we are having with the body when that's what we are doing when we get a photograph taken. We're telling the body essentially, you're not good enough to be seen. You're not good enough to be put out on this photograph. Only half of you should be seen. What a powerfully negative message to give to the body. And yet we do it all the time. Imagine having these conversations with your best friend. Imagine telling your best friend, you're too fat. Your hair is a mess. Your hair is falling constantly. You're too tall. You're too short. You're too dark. You're too fair. You're too much of something. And you're too little of something. Basically, you're not acceptable as you are. Now, why has this whole thing happened? Because we've looked at the human body at a very, very superficial level. And here's an opportunity to shift that, not only today, but forever, right? So when is the time that we actually tune into the body, or we thank our blessings which we have through this body? When do we do that? Can you think of it and put it down in the comments? When are the moments when we actually feel the absence of something within the body, or when we feel thankful for something within the body, or we have some kind of conversation with the body? You know when that happens? Either when we are ill, or when we are exhausted, or when something has restricted us. The other day, we happened to go downstairs for some work, something very, very important. And I remember my daughter telling me, can I run? Can I just run for 5 minutes, Mama? And I said, all right. I looked and there was nobody in the block. And I said, okay, you just run from here to there. And that child was so happy to just run. And I saw her stretch her arms and her face up, and she was running like that. It was such a reflection that when we are restricted, when the human body movement has been restricted, when we've been told you can't go out and run, you can't be out for walks, you're in a lockdown, then what happens? We start missing basic functions of the body. Just being able to take a walk, just being able to be with nature, that's when we enter the deeper areas. So can we today shift the way we look at the human body? So if you were not judging it at a superficial level and you were at another level, how would that experience be? Here's how that experience would be. What I want you to do now is I want you to be honest and authentic. You don't have to share this with me if you don't want to. You don't have to put it in the comments if you don't want to, but I'll be deeply grateful if you can, because so many people will get inspired with that. So once the video is up on YouTube, put it down in the comments so that people can get inspired. But if you want to keep it private, by all means do that. Sit and create a list of what are the things that you dislike about your body, that you wish was different, and just be completely honest. What are the things which you might have been saying to your body, which are not really things you would say to your best friend or to your own child? It could be something as simple as, oh, I wish my nose was not so long. I wish it was slightly smaller. I wish my eyes were a little bit bigger, right? I wish I had this kind of a color. I wish I had that kind of a height. I wish I was slimmer. I wish I was fuller. Or it could be things which are far more intense, like I hate my tummy. I hate my skin. Whatever it is, and at whatever intensity it is, I want you to be really, really honest. If it is about looking at others and saying, she has gorgeous hair, I wish I had that hair, and feeling panic every time you see your hair falling, then so be it. I want you to put it down in the list. Simple. Just make a list of whatever worries, concerns, irritations, dislikes you have regarding your body. It could be one thing, it could be 10 things, it doesn't matter. I knew somebody, there was just one issue he had with his appearance, and that one issue sabotaged his whole life. So it could be one, it could be many, and that doesn't matter. Put that down. Once you've put it down, here's something very, very interesting what you're going to do. And I'm very grateful to those of you who are putting this down in the comments. These will not go to the YouTube video when it gets uploaded. But this is so powerful because you're being honest. And I create the list. And then we're going to do something called a turnaround. Now, what is the turnaround? A turnaround means I choose to look at it in a completely different way. I choose to go deeper, one layer deeper or many layers deeper. For example, I might have really thick glasses and maybe my eyesight isn't that great. So maybe my concern is that I wish my eyesight was good. I wish I didn't have to wear these specs, right? Now, how can I turn it around? Remember the wheelchair story that I shared, I think, in session 1? If you haven't heard it, go back to session 1. It's a beautiful story. So here's how you can turn it around. What are your specs doing for you? They are actually helping you see the world. How about turning it around and saying, I'm so grateful that I have the gift of these specs and I can see the world. Imagine there was a time when people couldn't see anything. They were blinded by different diseases or different issues or power difference in the eyes because there were no spectacles in the world. Just imagine that. People couldn't see because glasses were not there, and you have the gift of those glasses. How about saying, I have eyes. I have the most beautiful eyes, and they help me see the world through these specs. So you turn it around. If there's somebody who has an issue with their stomach stretch marks, and we did a turnaround, and she said, she reframed it so beautifully. She said, I'm a tigress and these are my stripes, right? That's so powerful because it is the most, look for the gift in it. It is the most incredible thing that this stomach was home to a full-fledged baby who's going to grow into a human being who could change the fate of humanity. What a powerful role to play. I'm getting goosebumps as I say this. So imagine putting that medal out and saying, yes, I earned these stripes. These are not just simple stretch marks. These are my stripes and I have earned them. Like an army person would earn their medals, exactly like that. So how about looking at deeper layers? For example, if you feel your stomach is too big, how about thanking it for all the digestion? How about thanking it for assimilating nutrition? Imagine if we stop assimilating nutrients and you're deficient constantly and you're suffering with a certain disease just because your body is not working. That could happen. So how about reframing it to, I'm so grateful to my body for allowing me to have beautiful food and for digesting this food for me. For somebody who's not tall enough, right? Who thinks they are not tall enough. How about turning it around and saying, I'm so grateful that I stand tall. How about thanking your body for the abilities that you have? For example, you have legs that work and that take you places. How about being grateful for the fact that you have a great posture, right? With that same height, you have a great posture, and then work to have that great posture. That's how you can turn it around. Let me look at a couple of more. Somebody said, I wish I had your hair. That's so sweet. So, Sudeepa, how about something about your hair? What does your hair help you to do? I love how my hair frames my face. I love how my hair protects my scalp. I love how my hair responds to love and care. Isn't that a beautiful way to reframe it? And then you'll land up taking better care for it. And you know why? Because loving your body is not about loving your body at a superficial level. Do you know what you're loving? You're loving that life is flowing through this instrument, that you are experiencing life through this instrument. And the divine is literally playing music through you as if you're a flute, as if this body is a medium for the divine to flow through. And that is what you're loving. That is what you're honoring, that this body is home to a spirit. This body is home to the spark of the divine. And this is the beautiful, deeper level at which we want to transform our perception about our life. It has to be about our abilities. It has to be about the gifts that this body brings. It has to be about the fact that this body is a medium for experiencing life. Every time you go to a superficial level, remind yourself, do this turnaround and bring yourself back to the deeper level, back to the truth. And I send you loads of love with this. If you're watching this for the first time, I want you to subscribe because this is an amazing journey and you want to be on it. So 21 days, we're going to work to transform every aspect of your life. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, you hit the bell icon, and make sure it's on the all option. Do share this message, people. Pick 5 people today that you haven't told about this channel and spread the love, because that's what I'm doing and that's what you're doing. I send you so much love. Have a beautiful time. Honor this body. Love yourself. Bye.